Welcome back, everyone. Today, Nicole and I are talking about our 10 tips for those of you who are just starting your personal development journey.
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Janelle. We have bonded as millennial women, as moms, wives, as coaches, and as students of life, all while finding the humor in the chaos. This is us unpacking and externally processing the ever-evolving and growing baggage of life. Join us in the conversation.
Have we mentioned that we've never actually met in real life? We are connected from afar.
I love this, and I think that this topic is going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to help shift some perspective along the way too, because I think when we start this journey, it can get very serious very fast. And so before we even dig into our 10, which Janelle has 5 and I have 5, but remember to have fun. Remember, things
Yes.
are not so serious. We are honestly just a little speck in this huge universe, and have fun with this growth experience so that you don't end up burning yourself out and thinking you have to constantly be on the wheel of healing and observing and processing and all of the things. So that is probably my number one tip before we get into it, is to just remember to have fun. And yeah.
I want to build on that as well. As I think we should kind of add this precursor of don't feel you need to be someone else. Like personal development doesn't mean you are not good as you are, that you need to change everything. Personal development is just an evolution of ourselves as we experience more and learn more and want to achieve bigger things. If that's what you would like to do, personal development and personal growth is just a matter of help supporting you in your life. That's it. It's not about changing who you are. It's about enhancing what's already there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So on that topic, I'm going to go into my first one just to get the ball rolling. And I feel like it's right in alignment with that one as well, is making yourself the number one priority through this process. I'm looking really quick. Reminding yourself to trust that you know yourself best, and that it's up to you to make the decisions to get you on the path of where you're trying to go. And even if that path looks more rocky or bumpy than someone else's path, if your heart is telling you that, then that's the path that you go on. And just reminding yourself that you're the number one priority in this entire thing, and the relationship, you're the most important relationship amongst anything else.
Which brings perfectly into my number 2 is know your Zen. Your intuition is such an incredible gift and tool and guide for you. It is your compass. So know how to tap into that. So if you know what is your Zen, most people, we think meditation, that might not fly for everybody. So know where is it that you can get quiet and really dig into what your body and your soul is telling you, what your heart is telling you, what is the next right thing for you, what path you want to go down. Have an array of ways that you can Zen out. How can you tap into that? So for me, that's hiking in the woods with no talking, no headbuds, just connecting with nature. Some people that's fishing. Some people that is meditating in a room with candles or whatever. Maybe it's a hot bath. But know what are your ways that you can connect with yourself in a way that you can hear your deepest wishes, your deepest thoughts, your deepest intuition. Yeah.
Moving on to number 3, I am going to say, in line with finding your Zen, it's also okay to experience all of the emotions that come through this process. And just because you are on this new healing journey of personal growth, that does not mean you are only going to have positive thoughts and positive wishes. You most certainly are going to go through times of feeling very negative, and maybe you even have negative thoughts that come up. The difference is when we're not on this journey, those negative thoughts kind of escalate and we turn into more of a victim mentality, where when we're on this journey of personal growth, those negative thoughts, that's our starting point. kind of why are those negative thoughts coming up first? What are they hiding from what's underneath them? How can I process and move through and still have all of these emotions that go with processing? Don't discourage yourself from having emotion through the process. In fact, you want to encourage feeling. You want to encourage all of the feels, because that's honestly what helps move you through it quicker, in my opinion.
Yeah. Which leads me into my number 4. Man, we're very in sync today.
Wow, what we didn't
Which
even
is,
plan this.
I know, this is on the fly, is be curious and not judgmental. So to Nicole's point, is as you're doing your personal development, it's all about awareness. So there's going to be good things that come up about yourself, and maybe some darker sides of yourself that you're not so comfortable with. It's going to bring up emotions. It's going to bring out past experiences as well. And it's really important to look at those from curiosity, like look at those objectively and not add shame or guilt or whatever brings you down looking at them. I mean, those emotions will come up, and acknowledge those, but don't stay in judgment of yourself for where you are or how you are or whatever you want to, whatever journey you're on. So just use that as a tool to just make a game plan. All those emotions and what comes up, these are clues for you. They're clues to what brings you discomfort is a clue to what maybe is something that you want to change, or maybe something that you need to work on to accept yourself. So they're just clues. So be curious, not judgmental. Don't beat up on yourself, please. Yeah.
Yes. Number 5, you very well might feel alone through this process. I think it's important to say this because it's interesting when we start healing and we start this journey, you do feel alone and you feel kind of isolated. And that's okay, because what's happening is you're becoming more aware of the surroundings, the people, the energy, all of the things that are around you. And so anyways, you might realize how you need to make adjustments along this way, but knowing that, okay, so you're becoming more aware, maybe you're feeling alone, you're recognizing, wow, there's not great energy around me, or there's not great people, and I need to shift and maybe let some people go. But knowing that by letting other people go on this journey, those people will be replaced with more like-minded individuals like yourself. Because the more you're open to this journey, the more you're attracting more people like that. And you'll realize, maybe you might realize how those other relationships were more surfacey. And then as you're healing and processing and you're finding new people, you just instantly are going deeper with these people, and the connections are already so much more meaningful because it's showing up from a place of wanting to be better and wanting to heal and experience life for all that it is. So don't get caught up in feeling alone, because that moment is only temporary.
Yeah. And I just want to touch on that as well, is sometimes, when we're going through this process, sometimes it's just a pullback. It's not necessarily a forever. Sometimes it's just for you to pull back a little bit so that you can figure out and maybe I don't want to say reorganize, but like really figure out how you want to show up. And when you do, sometimes it's very welcomed. Sometimes it might not be. Those people expect you to be who you were before, but some people are very happy for you. So don't think that even if the relationship maybe go through a little bit of distance, it might go through a little bit of like growing pains. Sometimes those relationships will take off and flourish even more, and the connection can become deeper. Or sometimes it's just about blessing, releasing, thanking them for the part that they've had in your life to get you to where you were. And it's like you said, it doesn't make them bad people. It's just sometimes the connection is just no longer there. And that's okay, because when we create that space, when we allow that, when we bless and release, we're creating space for something else. The universe wants to fill that space. And when you show up the way you want to show up, you're going to attract the people to fill that you want to fill that space. So yeah. Which again, this is why I giggled earlier. It leads into what I was going to say. Is know your team, is know you are not alone, or you don't need to be alone. So know who your people are, like who are your mentors, and they don't have to be someone that you personally know. It can be people that you look up to, that you admire, and you can admire them from afar and just learn from them, like pull in their wisdom. So it can be people you follow online that you really admire, or someone who's achieving something that you would like to achieve, or that live a way that you like to live, or live by values that you also value. And so who are your mentors? Who are you looking up to? And you can find them anywhere. It can be someone personal, like that you know face to face. It can be people that you read their books, or you see them on YouTube or on whatever social media that you follow. But who are the people that you really look up to, that you can, in moments where you do feel down or feel that you need some inspiration or a little bit of uplifting, who are those people that you look up to in those moments that you feel like you need a little wisdom and a little bit of help from? Who are your confidants? Who are the people that you may not have these people, and they sometimes you have to develop that, and they come with time, but you may have those people that you know that you can go to and I don't want to say unleash, because I don't like that, but really tell your deepest, darkest thoughts without judgment, that you feel it's a safe place that you can really unmask yourself. Um, Even though it's very different than who you are or were, to be able to really just have someone that you can really be completely yourself, you can break down with, you can cry with, you can tell your deepest, darkest secrets. Just know who your people are that you can reach out to in those moments where things feel a little bit lonely or dark or unsure of yourself. And if you don't, a coach is in a really great place. Nicole and I, this is what we do. This is a third party, completely objective person that you can externally process with. You can tell those deepest, darkest wishes and secrets or whatever, and work your way through them, how you want to move forward, externally process how you would like to move forward. So know who those are. And who are your peers? Who are the people that are going through the same thing that you're going through, that, are there for the ups and downs? They have their own ups and downs and are willing to share those with you, the obstacles, and that you can kind of bounce ideas off of. But they're also there to uplift you and just be like, yeah, I got you. I hear you. I'm with you. I'm also going through this. Let's just have someone to bounce these thoughts and feelings and emotions off of, that are also in the trenches with you. So just know your team, having those people, and just being really aware of who those are so that you can tap into them as resources, as tools. Yeah.
Absolutely. Is this number 7 or 8?
Yes. I think it's
Okay.
7.
I think it's 7.
You're on
Now,
7.
this is
Yeah.
this is something I really, really wish that I would have known, especially as a people pleaser, and now what I always say, a recovering people pleaser. Not everyone likes you. Not everyone, like, I literally don't know how else to say it, but not everyone likes you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially, like, for me, being a freaking people pleaser, I would do anything to make sure that people thought highly of me, thought I was a good person, saw my best qualities. I mean, I did not want to experience anything other than knowing that people liked me. And it was extremely uncomfortable for me to know, hey, they might not like you. And that's also not your problem.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to, oh, dang it, what's the saying? Like, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. How someone else views you is none of your business. That again is why it's so important on this journey to come back to yourself, to heal, so that you love and you trust and you know yourself best, that when someone else doesn't like you, you're just like, okay. Or you may even experience a little feeling of, that's too bad for them, because I'm actually a really freaking cool. So too bad, Which I think
Yeah.
I've kind of gone like through all of those cycles for sure, and every experience is different. But bottom line, not everyone's gonna like you, and that is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something. It's not your problem. I think it's
Hmm.
also not a problem.
Yes,
It
exactly.
doesn't need to be a thing. It doesn't need to be you against them. It's just differences,
Hmm.
and that's okay. There's room for everyone. Yeah. Yeah. The other one, my number 8. Yes, we're at number 8. Is don't discount the work that you've already done and the experiences that you've already had. You are not necessarily starting from square one. And some of the work that you do in the beginning is acknowledging, what have you learned? How much have you grown? What are the things that you've already worked on? What are the things that you want to work on? Or maybe you have tried working on it and it hasn't worked. That's all in your toolbox. Those are gifts. All that experience, that is a gift, but you need to use it with intention. So yeah, don't discount everything that's happened before your beginning of your personal development journey. Yeah.
Absolutely, because that's exactly why you're starting or why you're
Yeah.
advancing or whatever, because something has sparked in you. So, number 9, I wish that I would have known how uncomfortable it really can be through this process, and how before this, anytime I experienced discomfort, I ran from it. And now I'm realizing if I'm uncomfortable, there's more work to be done. So if I'm uncomfortable, that's another opportunity for me to peel back a layer of myself to get to know, because this discomfort is coming through because of something I haven't healed, or something that I have just swept to the side and hoped it would go away. And now I find comfort in those uncomfortable moments, because I know I'm going to come out of this. Like, this is uncomfortable right now, but hopefully next time it's going to be a little less uncomfortable, because I'm going to keep learning something about myself, or healing, or whatever, that looks like. Maybe there's a boundary I need to set. Maybe there's this, that. I mean, the journey can take you anywhere, but it's okay to experience discomfort. And in fact, it's going to help lead you to the person you're trying to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say something. I lost it. Fuck. What was the title of that one again? My brain is not on firing on all
How
cylinders. Hmm?
uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the other thing to remember is that oftentimes when we ignore something, the discomfort will slap you in the face. Like if you ignore long enough, that discomfort will outweigh any discomfort of working through the problem. Whether it's your like health, just like in health, if you ignore your health, it will slap you down and force you to look at it. So
Mhm.
nipping it in the butt, yes, it's uncomfortable. We have to do hard things sometimes to grow through something, but the sooner you do it actually lessens the discomfort in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So number 10, last one. And this was a hard one for me in the first few years of personal development, is like you start following these people and they have their systems and they have of success and of like the best life, living your best life and whatever it is. And you're like, yes, I got to do all of that. And I got to change this and this and this and this and that. Don't jump ship, make it sustainable. If you jump ship, and you're like, I have to make this huge overhaul of my life, you're going to get to like day 3 and be like, what have I done? Your family is going to be like, what have you done? And you're going to completely just, or at least this was my experience, is I would fritz out and I'd be like, I can't do it. I can't make it sustainable. And it was the same in my health, like whether it was working out or all these things, is like if you start too much too soon, you're going to burn out and you're just going to revert back to what was easy. So make small, very sustainable changes. Add one thing at a time. Make one small change at a time. It's that compounding effect, is one little change. It doesn't necessarily have to be every day, but whatever your timeline is, as you add something else and you build off of your habits. And so just don't jump ship. That's my biggest one. That was a huge, I'd come home from a conference or a retreat or something. I'd be like, Murray, guess what? This is all I learned and this is all I'm going to change. And you'd be like, okay. And like, cause it just got to a point where, and then I'd be crying 5 days later, just like in tears, like, why isn't it working? So set yourself up for success. Little wins. So celebrate the little wins, build when those become automatic and you start seeing the success. And actually to build on that as well, is one of the tools that we learned in coaching is the wheel of life. This is such a handy tool, is to separate your life on a pie chart with grids. So basically you're grading each area of your life of where you are to where you want to be. So whether that is your relationships, your health, your career, your spiritual side, I'm missing a whole bunch here, your finances, whatever, you can make it however you want. You can label those you want. So put the main parts of your life. Where are you now? Where would you like to be? And then you look at that and you pick the one that has the biggest gap in between. And start with that area. That gives you an area of focus to really to specify what you're trying to work on and the skills that you're trying to work on. inevitably any work that you do in that area, any wins that you get in that area, it's going to trickle into the others. But it gives you an area to start. It's not so overwhelming. It's easier to have an action plan. And yeah, any of those habits and wins that you make are inevitably going to trickle into the other areas. So set yourself up for success. Don't overwhelm yourself, because it can be easy to look at yourself and be like, I have to fix all of it. Basically, I have to just start from scratch, you know? So look at it as, one little area, one little thing at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that one as well. We've all gone down the road of like, that's it, I'm gonna do 900 new things.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have the best life. And then 2 days later, you're burnt out and fried, and you're like, what the hell? And to piggyback on that too, like, this is a journey. This is
Yeah.
going to take time. It's meant to take time. And in fact, I want to lay this out there. There's no end. Is air in your lungs and your heart is beating, you are still on this journey. There is not an end date to this healing. Even when you think you've already healed from something, I
Yeah.
promise the universe will find a tricky little way 3 years later to be like, remember this? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I thought I did all that already. So that's why it's like, slow down, take your time, have fun with it, allow
Yeah.
space for all of this. Like, this is an endless journey, but a beautiful one, because you get to discover so many things along the way. And it could be daunting to say, I guess, that it's forever, but
But it's true, because life, like, whether you are intentionally doing personal development or personal growth or not, you are
Mhm.
still growing. If you are living and experiencing things, you are inevitably learning and growing through these things. And it just maybe not, you're not as conscious of it. When you do it intentionally, when you're conscious of what you're doing, and seeking these things, then you can use it as a tool and be more intentional about. So the growth can be faster. But like you said, the journey is, you can label it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's life.
Yeah.
But how good of a life do you want to live? Right?
Boom. I don't know. Do we speak after that one? I love that. Okay, so let's dig into the mystery question, and hopefully you haven't already answered it. But what do you think has been one of your, let's just say, like, smallest adjustments that you have made in your life that's contributed to where you are? And maybe it's not a small one. Maybe it is a little bit bigger of one. Like, whatever. What have you found to help expedite this for you?
That's a good question. To expedite, trust your instincts, trust your intuition. I've fallen into that trap of what I think is right based on other people's, tips of success. And I think what sped things up for me is when I learned to trust my intuition and be like, this element is not quite right for me.
Mhm.
Not everything is a right fit. That doesn't mean all of it is wrong. But when you trust your instinct, be like, there's something here, but what is it? What is the one thing that from this, whether it's a book you read or you go to a retreat and you don't necessarily connect with all of it. It's like, what was the element that you did connect with? And how
Mhm.
can you use that? So just trusting my instincts and because you basically have to swim through the reeds, man. Like you just got to like sift through all that shit and find your little nuggets of gold.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of swimming, but when you trust your instincts, you're like, oh, that no, I don't need that. Nope, 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 nope. And so you learn to know which ones are a good fit for you. Yeah, I love that question. What, just right back at you.
Yeah. I think something that has helped me continue to learn about myself and come back to me, that I'm always looking into, is my triggers. I'm always looking to uncover when I am triggered, why. I want to know, like, where that's coming from, because I'm a huge feeler. I'll talk about this all day long. I always want to feel like my nervous system is settled, like I have peace in my body. And so the second that I experience a trigger, my body most certainly knows, I'm starting to get dysregulated. I get super curious. I want to know
Yeah.
where that's coming from, and what I need to do or process or heal or look into further, so that way when I'm in that situation again, I'm less triggered, or maybe not even at all, or whatever. That has been something that has I feel like sped me up as an individual because I want to look at it. I'm a seeker of that trigger. Like that's why I'm okay feeling uncomfortable because I know there's something in there and I want to know
Yeah.
what it is. Because when I can heal it, then it's not living on my physical being anymore. It's not weighing me down. And it's surprising at how, when you, for myself, when I've gotten in this, how I feel a physical weight lifting off of me when I've processed something and healed it. We don't recognize how heavy these beliefs and these thoughts and these traumas and experiences our life is on our physical being when we're living like what, like not awake, right? Like when you're just kind of like behind the wheel, like whatever, sleeping, like whatever. You don't realize the depth and the weight that that is carrying on your physical being. And when you start this process and you look into it, the first time you have that aha moment, you know you've just done something magical because it's not only a mental shift, it's a physical shift.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, sorry to grow on this, when you recognize those triggers, sometimes those are, you're triggered because it was an old trigger. And sometimes all that is, when you start investigating, is just, this no longer holds weight for me. So
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like your body has a way of, you start to learn that you can trust, and you can, that you're capable to withstand something that you couldn't withstand before. And it's not because it's, you're just pushing it down. It's just, it doesn't have the weight it used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hope that this podcast, this episode, brought some sort of aha moments to you guys today. And let us know if you have any questions, and if something rang true to you and you want like a full episode on it, just let us know. And until then, like and subscribe to our channel so we can keep growing and doing this thing that we love to do with purpose and passion.
Thank you guys.
Bye.